You know something funny? When we was talking in like the 12th round, I think the 12th or 11th, we was talking, right? But he like, you ain't gonna win. I said, why not? What you talking about? He like, they ain't gonna give it to you.
The debate over Tank's draw with Lamont Roach Jr. is intensifying, rapidly becoming one of the most talked about controversies in boxing this year. What seemed like a clear-cut fight outcome has spiraled into accusations of bias, potential corruption, and speculation about whether Tank Davis received special protection beyond the ropes.
Whilst punches are being thrown, it has to be a knockdown. I've heard some people saying, "Oh, that he should be disqualified. He went back to the corner." I don't buy that, to be honest with you. I mean, I think that's a warning, but it's a bit of a bizarre situation.
Fans remain stunned by the events of the 9th round. Referee Steve Willis chose not to rule it a knockdown, pausing momentarily, as if to start a count before abruptly stopping, leaving viewers baffled. That single moment altered the fight's momentum entirely. Now, speculation is swirling, with rumors suggesting Willis may have been influenced or even coerced to ensure Davis retained his title.
If you take the knee, if you take the knee in the 90s or in 2000, you're taking a point off. That's the bottom line. You're taking a point off. I don't know what happened with the ref.
Fight had already delivered. Plenty of surprises. Roach, a heavy underdog, stepped into the ring with no pressure and everything to gain. Facing the raw power and relentless style of Gervonta Davis, few believed he'd go the distance, let alone take the champ to his limits. But Roach defied expectations. From the first bell, he made it clear he wasn't just another notch on Davis's record. He fought with precision, discipline, and unwavering courage, slipping past Davis's heavy shots and landing crisp, well-timed counters. As the rounds ticked by, it became obvious this wouldn't be an easy victory for Davis. For the first time in ages, the Baltimore fighter appeared frustrated, struggling to find his rhythm as Roach refused to give him the opportunities he craved. And then came the 9th round, the pivotal moment that flipped the entire fight on its head.
I mean, the only reason they gave you the fight was because you would make more money as a champion, but there's no way it's a draw, and they didn't call it a knockdown. If they called a knockdown, you lost.
Roach connected with a punch that visibly rocked Davis, causing him to briefly drop to a knee. The crowd erupted, expecting an immediate knockdown call. But referee Steve Willis, typically known for his expressive reactions, did something unexpected. He paused. For a brief moment, it seemed like he would start a count, but he abruptly stopped. Instead of declaring a knockdown, he dismissed the moment entirely. The commentators were speechless, the arena buzzed with confusion, and social media exploded with questions. How was that not a knockdown? The replay clearly showed Davis hitting the canvas after a clean shot, yet Willis acted as if it never happened. That split-second decision had lasting consequences, with the scorecards reflecting a majority draw. A result many fans argue should have been a loss for Davis.
Not being in big names, so they overblow it?
I think so, yeah, and I feel like people just don't like Tank to a point where any little thing, just because he ain't knock him out, he probably feel as though that he lost, and he didn't, or it was a draw,
Now, even more troubling details are starting to emerge. Rumors are circulating that Willis may have been offered a $2 million bribe to protect Davis. At first, it sounded like frustrated fans spinning conspiracy theories. But then insiders in the boxing world started echoing the same claims. Whispers spread that individuals tied to Davis's camp had allegedly reached out to Willis before the fight. Some even pointed to Tank's confidence, reportedly telling Roach that no matter what he did, he wouldn't walk away with a win. Critics argued that Willis's hesitation in the 9th round wasn't just an error in judgment. It looked like the actions of someone second-guessing a decision they couldn't afford to get wrong. If these allegations hold any truth, it could go down as one of the most glaring examples of corruption the sport has seen in years.
Honestly, I thought I should have won without that being counted a knockdown. Look, I ain't the ref. I ain't really, you know what I'm saying? Like, if he had to wipe sweat out his eye, he had to wipe sweat out his eye. But the rules do state, if you voluntarily take a knee, then that's an automatic 8 count. But it is what it is. I wasn't relying on that. I was relying on...
Suspicion only grew when the World Boxing Association quickly stepped in to defend Willis's controversial decision. In a move that intensified the backlash, the WBA released an article on their official website claiming Willis's call was justified. The statement read, "From our perspective, Willis's decision was reasonable, and no knockdown should have been recorded." That response sparked immediate outrage. Fans felt like the WBA was trying to squash the controversy before it spiraled out of control. Boxing analysts called the explanation absurd, while former fighters publicly criticized the WBA for seemingly protecting Davis. Within hours, the article was being torn apart across social media, amplifying the pressure on the organization to address the situation more transparently.
It was a close fight. It was a close fight. I'm surprised the way Lamont fought. I knew Lamont was going to come to fight. It was the opportunity of a lifetime. He did a good job. He fought a great fight.
What went wrong with Tank Davis? I mean, I was
what was wrong with him?
Out.
Every night in boxing is not your best.
Backlash grew so intense that WBA President Gilberto Mendoza eventually removed the article and issued a public apology. But instead of calming things down, his apology sparked even more questions. Mendoza posted a message to Lamont Roach Jr. on X, saying, "As WBA president, I apologize for the opinion expressed by a website contributor. We've supported you from day one and are proud of your incredible performance." The wording immediately raised suspicions. If it was just one contributor's opinion, why was it published on the WBA's official platform? And why had the organization rushed to defend Willis's decision so quickly? Mendoza also reached out to Roach's father, who doubles as his manager and trainer, with a similar apology. But the damage was already done. For many fans and analysts, it looked like a botched attempt to cover up favoritism, with the WBA only backpedaling once the public outrage became impossible to ignore. At this point, all eyes turned to Gervonta Davis himself. With bribery allegations swirling, fans were eager to hear his response. When Davis finally addressed the situation, he didn't offer a clear denial, nor did he admit to anything. Instead, he pushed back against the criticism, saying, "I don't know anything about that, but people have been hating on me from day one. Y'all act like I haven't had to fight for my respect. They're just mad I kept my belt." Davis also insisted he wasn't afraid of a rematch, adding, "If they want to run it back, I'm ready. I don't duck anybody." But that statement raised more questions. If Davis was truly open to a rematch, why hadn't it been scheduled yet? Some speculate that his camp is stalling, possibly because they know Roach poses a serious threat.
I'm not sure, bro. I'm definitely not sure, but hopefully we could get it before. Nah, it probably won't be this year.
Meanwhile, the New York State Athletic Commission, NYSAC, is now being dragged into the controversy. The commission was supposed to use instant replay during the fight, but for some reason, it never happened. Their official explanation? Technical issues. But that excuse only fueled more skepticism. What kind of technical glitch conveniently occurs right when a replay could have altered the outcome of a major title bout? Frustrated fans are demanding a full investigation, and rumors are circulating that Roach's team is considering legal action to contest the fight result. If they decide to take that route, the situation could escalate even further.
How do you assess his power after being in there for 12?
He got decent power. He got decent power for sure. I ain't gonna say it's exaggerated. I told you I got a chin. I ain't going like that.
The controversy intensifying, the pressure for a rematch is mounting. Even WBA President Gilberto Mendoza admitted that the organization is now considering pushing for a second fight, stating, "I've asked the WBA committee to closely follow Lamont Roach Jr.'s request for a rematch." However, we believe both parties, as mentioned in the post-fight interview, will agree to run it back. But many fans remain skeptical. The WBA's earlier actions left people questioning their impartiality, and some worry they'll do whatever it takes to protect Davis's record. Even if a rematch is scheduled, what guarantees that the same questionable decisions and behind-the-scenes politics won't influence the outcome again?
That people want to discredit Tanguy, he's still a pound-for-pound fighter.
Yeah. What do you think about that fight that happened? You thought it was just an off night, or?
Everybody has an off night. Everybody has an off night. Shit, I had a night with Cruz.
This controversy continues to dominate headlines. Canelo Alvarez is gearing up for his return to the ring in May against William Skull. But that hasn't stopped the Mexican superstar from sharing his thoughts on boxing's most talked-about scandal. Known for his candid nature, Canelo didn't hold back when discussing the 9th-round incident where Davis dropped to a knee after a clean shot from Roach. In an interview on Hot 97's Ebro in the Morning, Canelo made his stance clear. By the eye rules, Roach should have won the round decisively. He took a knee. That should be a 10-8 round at least, Canelo said. And when the corner steps into the ring during the round, that's an automatic disqualification. Though he ended by saying, "I'm just talking about the rules, but it's not my business." His comments added even more weight to the growing calls for accountability.
And in the end, lost that fight to Roach, in your opinion?
Yeah, in my opinion, if it was a draw, he take a knee. And plus the corner go up and put it a towel in the face, that's a disqualification for sure. I'm talking about the rules, but it's not my business.
While Canelo kept his comments brief, his words carried serious weight. This wasn't just any fighter speaking. It was the undisputed super middleweight champion, a global boxing icon, calling out how the rules were seemingly bent in Davis's favor. As the backlash intensifies, it's becoming harder to ignore the depth of this controversy. The New York State Athletic Commission is still investigating the incident, and their findings could send shockwaves through the lightweight division. Veteran boxing journalist Dan Rafael didn't hold back on ProBox TV, stating, "If they made the right call, Lamont Roach wins the fight." He went on to say, "That bad night by Willis cost Roach a championship, robbed him of handing America's top fighter his first loss. Everything that could go wrong went wrong, and it all worked against Roach."
If that was kind of a knockdown, I would win a majority decision. Honestly, I thought I should have won without that, but the rules do state if you voluntarily take a knee, then that's an automatic.
Regulators across the country are now closely monitoring the situation as NYSAC Chairman Matthew Dalio faces mounting pressure to make a ruling. But the decision is anything but simple. If Dalio overturns the result, Davis could lose his WBA lightweight title and suffer his first official loss. On the other hand, some argue that changing the result outright wouldn't be fair without giving Davis a chance to settle things in a rematch. One of the most troubling aspects of the fight was not just the missed knockdown call, but the fact that Davis's corner was allowed to interfere mid-round. If the fight had been handled correctly, Roach would have entered the final rounds with a huge advantage. Instead, Davis was given precious recovery time, wiping his face, regaining composure, and continuing as if nothing had happened. The burning question now is whether this was simply a night of human error or something far more concerning.
I'm still rooting with him. I saw the negativity and people, critics talking, but I think he's one hell of a fighter, and I think he's still the top dog.
Former referee Jack Rice weighed in on ProBox TV, noting that while referees have discretion, fighters are never allowed to call their own timeouts. "You cannot call your own timeout," Rice emphasized. Former world champion Paulie Malignaggi quickly pointed out the double standard at play, adding to the growing outrage. The controversy deepened when it was revealed that an instant replay review was available but never used. This means the commission had the power to correct the mistake in real time, yet chose not to. That single detail has only fueled speculation that Davis received preferential treatment. In response, ProBox TV founder Gary Jonas, who advises, Roach has officially appealed the decision, requesting that Roach be declared the rightful winner. Trainer Stephen Breadman Edwards summed up the frustration perfectly. People make mistakes, but somehow, the mistakes always seem to benefit the A side. That's the real issue. If this had been Roach taking a knee, walking to his corner mid-round, and getting an unofficial timeout, would the referee have let it slide? Most people believe the answer is no.
And y'all gotta chill out with all of this Loma. Loma's beating Tank, and like, you feel this is crazy, man. Tank is knocking out Loma, man. Get out of here with that shit.
Couldn't knock out Roach, man. Yo, couldn't knock out Roach.
I think Roach knocks out Loma.
The unwidely supported solution within the boxing world is an immediate rematch at Barclays Center in Brooklyn, the very arena where the controversy erupted. But for many, a rematch alone isn't enough. There are growing calls for disciplinary action against referee Steve Willis, for the New York Commission to change the official result, and even for Davis to be stripped of his title. Surprisingly, one of Davis's biggest rivals, Ryan Garcia, has also weighed in, and this time, he's siding with Roach. Garcia, who lost to Davis by knockout last April, didn't hold back when discussing the situation. If that changes the whole fight, if that gives Roach the victory, give him the victory, Garcia said. That's how you keep the integrity of the sport, right? That's why they suspended me, right? To keep the integrity of the sport.
That was the knockdown, without a doubt. You can't spin it no other way. It's too clear. And I think the commission needs to do something about it because it can give me an incentive, anytime I'm not feeling good in a fight, take a knee.
Well, they said
and that's not a shot at Tank. I respect Tank. And
Garcia's comment was a direct shot at boxing's double standards. After his fight with Devin Haney, Garcia was suspended for testing positive for a banned substance, a ruling many felt was overly severe. Now, he's calling out the hypocrisy. If boxing truly stands for fairness and integrity, why aren't the same strict rules being applied to Davis? The controversy surrounding Davis versus Roach has grown beyond just a single fight. It's become a question of the sport's credibility. If a referee can overlook a clear knockdown, allow a fighter's corner to interfere mid-round, and still let the A-side fighter leave with his belt, what does that say about the state of boxing?
Did Gervonta Tank Davis have an off night? Probably. Did he have grease in his eye? Probably. Put the grease on. And did Lamont Roach win the fight? Yes. Let's look at the
The New York State Athletic Commission is expected to make a ruling soon, and the outcome could have far-reaching consequences. If they uphold the original decision, boxing fans may lose even more trust in the system.
But if they overturn the result, Davis's reputation could take a serious hit, and the entire lightweight division might be thrown into turmoil. One thing is clear: this controversy isn't going away anytime soon. With high-profile fighters
like Canelo Alvarez, Ryan Garcia, and Teofimo Lopez publicly speaking out, the pressure on regulators is only intensifying. And with an already tense landscape in the lightweight division, featuring names like Davis, Shakur Stevenson, and Vasily Lomachenko, this situation might just be the spark that triggers a major shakeup in the sport.
You lost that unanimously.
I'm with Mace. I think he lost the fight. That referee has a lot of experience. For you not to call that knee a knockdown is crazy.
Meanwhile, as the controversy rages on, another heated debate is dividing the boxing world. Who would win if Gervonta Davis and Shakur Stevenson finally faced off in the ring? With both fighters holding pieces of the lightweight world title, this is the matchup fans are desperate to see, and their latest performances have only intensified the speculation. Davis, despite retaining his WBA belt, is now entangled in an investigation that could overturn his fight result against Roach. If the New York State Athletic Commission rules against him, he might be forced into an immediate rematch or even stripped of his title, a decision that could derail plans for a mega fight with Stevenson. Adding to the uncertainty are lingering questions of corruption, the alleged bribe, the 9th round, non-call by referee Steve Willis, and the perception that Davis is being protected. All of this has chipped away at his aura of invincibility, leaving many to wonder, is Tank truly unbeatable, Or is he just benefiting from forces outside the ring?
We still had rounds to go. We thought it was in the 8th round. He was good. We just couldn't figure out why he wouldn't pick it up. Right. And so I think it was maybe a lack of focus just for a little bit, and we'll fix that.
On the other hand, Shakur Stevenson may have scored a win in his last fight, but it wasn't the dominant performance fans had anticipated. He faced late replacement Josh Padley after Floyd Schofield withdrew due to illness, and while Stevenson secured a 9th-round stoppage, the victory felt underwhelming. Many expected Stevenson to dispatch Padley much earlier, especially given his reputation as one of the most technically skilled defensive boxers in the sport. The fact that it took him 9 rounds to finish a lesser opponent sparked criticism, with some questioning whether he has the punching power to keep someone as explosive as Davis at bay.
You can run over. You can't do that in boxing. Anything can happen. You can have a great night, believe that. You got to believe in your soul, and I think the kid was in there with his soul tonight. It was a good fight, don't get me wrong. And, to me, it could have went either way.
Now, with both fighters coming off less than stellar performances, boxing fans are more divided than ever on who would come out on top if Davis and Stevenson finally clashed. Two-weight world champion Teofimo Lopez, who has exchanged plenty of words with both fighters in the past, recently weighed in on the debate. Speaking to Fight Hub TV, Lopez didn't hold back. Despite Davis's struggles against Roach, he still backed Tank to beat Stevenson. I still think Gervonta will win against Shakur. Technically, I just think like that, Lopez said confidently. Given Lopez's history with Stevenson, his opinion wasn't exactly shocking, but it added even more fuel to an already intense debate.
Do you still think that fight's possible? I know he might have a break after that fight with Lamont Roach, but do you feel like you guys could fight 2025 or 2026?
I ain't gonna lie, I ain't into chasing people around. I mean, if he's willing to fight, I'm ready to fight, and I think it should happen.
The two fighters have exchanged words before, and Lopez has never been shy about questioning Stevenson's ability to handle elite pressure fighters. Still, his prediction carries weight. As a former unified lightweight champion and the current WBO super lightweight champion, Lopez knows what it takes to win at the highest level. And his belief that Davis would come out on top against Stevenson speaks volumes. But Lopez isn't the only one making predictions. Veteran trainer Robert Garcia also shared his thoughts on the potential matchup, offering a different perspective. While Garcia acknowledged Davis's explosive power, he highlighted Stevenson's exceptional defense and ring IQ, calling him a nightmare matchup for almost anyone. If Stevenson fights smart and avoids Davis's knockout punches, he could outbox him over 12 rounds, Garcia explained, suggesting that the fight could come down to whether Stevenson can stay disciplined enough to keep Tank at bay.
I'm not even gonna shit on him, but look, I want some money tonight. That's all I'm happy for. I want money tonight.
Shakur, tell us something, bro. Like, what did you think about the decision?
I ain't gonna shit on him.
Okay.
We still gotta see each other. He say he wanna fight me, so we gonna fight.
But what do you think about the decision?
I thought Lamont won.
You thought Lamont won?
Real question, though, is whether Stevenson can maintain his flawless defense for an entire fight without making a single mistake. That's the exact dilemma that makes this potential matchup so compelling. Stevenson is known for his defensive mastery, but Davis carries fight-changing power. If Davis lands a clean shot, can Stevenson withstand it? And if Stevenson successfully avoids those power punches, can Davis adjust and outbox him? These are the questions fans are desperate to see answered in the ring. But with the uncertainty surrounding Davis's situation, the fight's future remains unclear. For now, the two fighters are on separate paths, Davis grappling with the backlash of his controversial draw, and Stevenson still searching for an opponent who can truly challenge him. What do you think will happen if they finally face off? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to subscribe for more updates.